welcome back. This is Good Morning Kenya. Of course, you're still also right in time. We are ready to do this, and as always, every Tuesday, it's people and politics, and as always, these are issues that affect you as a citizen, and what are some of the steps that you have to take to correct and to rectify and to make adjustments on matters you think is important to you and I as a country. My name is Victor Oloo. You can get me on social media at Victor Oloo. We are starting this particular debate for the next 1 hour. As always, you can send in your comments, your questions, or your contribution, and we'll be sampling them during and until the end of this particular program. And in studio, I'm being joined by Dr. Joseph Rotich here, who is joining me live in studio. And of course, I'll be joined by Joseph Simekha via Zoom shortly, as well as Dr. David Matsanga, who is also joining me via Zoom shortly. But before then, let me start with you, Dr. Rotich. And first of all, let me give you a minute to, as always, send your message of condolence to the late Dr. Chris Kirubi, of course, a senior citizen who died at the age of 80, a businessman, as well as former Game MP Jakoyo Midio.
Thank you so much, Oloo. Let me take this opportunity to send my sincere condolence to the family, friends, and relatives of Mr. Kirubi. I think in Kenya we have lost a great man, a great industrialist, a philanthropist, and a kind-hearted person. I think we will lose him, because he is also a great man of encouragement, especially to young enterprising units. Let me also send my message of condolence to the family of Washington Jakoyo Midio, who actually passed on again. He has been a great debater, a great man who stood by his party, ODM, for many years. He was just a man that he has made game, a political place to be admired. And over the weekend, I also had a privilege to visit some families whose members actually passed on. I have Mr. Geter, whose burial is today. We send a message of condolence to them, and we say we are together in the spirit. Otherwise, although the weekend has been the most hectic weekend, and we want to thank God for this day.
Absolutely. We are here, and things happened over the weekend, and of course, we are in a new week, and we also expect a lot to happen. Let me just start by opening this debate as we wait for Dr. Matsanga and Joseph Simekha to join us shortly. We talked about this issue last week.
Yes.
The president, the appointment of 6 judges, we delved into it deeply last week, and that's exactly what I want us to talk about right now. But before then, let me just welcome Dr. David Matsanga, who is already here with us via Zoom. Dr. good morning from wherever you're watching from, and good morning to the show.
Good morning, Kenyans. Good morning, Africa. Good morning, all of you in the studio.
Amen.
Condolences to the people of Kenya for having lost 2 great and other people who have died as a result of God's will, because we have nothing to say other than that.
Absolutely.
On the question of my condolences to Dr. Chris Kirubi and to Jakoyo Midio, both of them, I know them personally.
Yes.
I knew Dr. Chris Kirubi in 1980 when we came to Kenya, and we stayed in Intercontinental Hotel with my president, Dr. Milton Obote. There was an office of Kenatico, where he was the boss of Kenatico in that Intercontinental Hotel. And that is when I knew Dr. Kirubi as the general manager of that office, whom I went down as a PA to ask for taxis. And from that time, Kirubi came and said, no, I would drive the ministers myself. He drove us, took us to Carnival. And this is the history to Carnival. That's one. On Midio's brother, whom I cannot mention here, the elder brother was my commander. And I want to tell you, I have sentiments. Midio was in Kampala. He was a young man when we were already in service. May his soul, may their soul rest in peace, especially that they have gone at an hour when this country needs such people to speak and bring peace.
Yeah. Yes.
One thing that I remember about Dr. Kirubi is that during the ICC cases, and as you know, ICC ending tomorrow, Victor.
Yes.
Yes.
He found me in Addis Ababa, and I had stayed in a hotel. My hotel bill was killing me. I was on the table trying to call someone to come and clear my bill in one of the hotels called one of those hotels. What is the hotel? This hotel is very powerful hotel. And Dr. Kirubi said, what type of bill is this? How much is it? He took me to the reception, and he told the general manager, Radisson Blue, yes, Radisson Blue, general manager. He told him, how much is the bill? The manager looked at the computer. Kirubi said, this guy has done a lot for Kenya. He's struggling for our people to get out of ICC.
All right, yes.
All right, yes.
Bring me the bill. Kirubi paid my bill.
Okay.
He even gave me extra to stay if I wanted. May their souls rest in peace.
All right.
All right. Thank you, Dr.
Thank you,
Daktari. If Simekha is ready.
I'm here. I've been here all along.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. Good to see you. Good morning. It's going to be prudent enough to also give you a minute just to send a message of condolence to Dr. Kirubi's family and, of course, the late Honorable Midiwo's family as well. Go ahead.
Yes, my message, my condolences to the two families and other families of many people who unfortunately have ones due to various reasons, due to COVID-19 and many other reasons. Just one word on Jacoya Midewa. I mean, a lot of tributes have been paid to him. One thing I had a lot of admiration for him and made friends with him about, chatted with him a lot about, is the fact that he's one of the few people close to Raila Odinga who sincerely spoke about the need for succession planning in ODM.
Yes.
A lot of people around Raila Odinga, Mheshimiwa Raila Odinga, are so afraid to talk about that subject, that topic of succession planning. And in my opinion, that is one of ODM's weakest spots, lack of succession planning. Midiwo was courageous, sincere enough to very honestly and very sincerely speak about the need for succession planning within ODM. Unlike other people who are close to Raila, but they are so afraid to talk about that issue of succession planning. May their souls rest in peace. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think it's good enough to give our message of condolence more so to the senior citizens. Of course, Jacoya Midiwo, we can never downplay their effort that they did, they made to make this country a great nation. All right, so let's just get into the real debate. Gentlemen, we talked about it here last week. President Uhuru Kenyatta, the issue of 6 judges, and now yesterday the president said to appoint 6 judges. No way. He said that his conscience is clear why he declined to appoint the 6 judges. Let me start with you, Dr. Rotich, in studio. We talked about this last week, and it's like we just told the president what to do.
According to the trend of things, since the 6 judges actually gave their deliberation, declaring PPI null and void, it never went down. Very good with many people. But as if that is not what I'm referring. You know what the president has actually expressed about the 6 judges, that they had integrity issues, and he had this message prior. When the 6 judges actually had to undergo the interview. And in this case, I feel this information that the NIS was supposed to they were supposed to have
prevailed their information during the time of the interview, so that the charges could be able, the GSC would have been able to, to have the intelligent information about the people they were interviewing. And since this thing.
What His Excellency said is that he got the information from the NIS, actually of the integrity issues that these guys are actually facing, and being at the center of upholding the constitution and the law of the land, and his conscience could not allow him to proceed to appoint him, or rather elevate him to the position of the judge, or the judges of the Court of Appeal. And in this case, this is something we had realized, and of course, understanding the position of the presidency and his verdict. With the prior knowledge about the people he was going to, he was going to elevate to the position of the judges of Court of Appeal. I think it was a foregone conclusion within us last week when we were discussing that the president may not give in, and it is actually very clear that he has not. He never gave in about the whole scenario. But one thing that is one thing, Oloo, is that the 6 judges who have been charged within the Court of public opinion, they are suffering in the cold. I think they deserve to be told what are these integrity issues that they are actually facing. We need to be told that this is what you did, because it is not only them, it is their families, them, their spouses. These are great personalities that we are talking about, and they are also the sitting judges. We are not talking about the people who are at home. We are talking about the people who are at work, even as we are talking today. So in this case, with such a attack of integrity issues being on their forehead, I think it is a high time that these people should be taken to court. Let them be told what are these integrity issues that they are facing, so that they can be, they will defend themselves. They will have time to say, no, these are the things that it is all the allegations, and that we know not of what has actually transpired as per what the information that is getting. Otherwise, as things are now, Oloo, it is very dangerous that we have those people in their offices when the tag has already been pasted on them, the tag of integrity issue. What are we saying? I think it should have been very good if His Excellency the President would say, now these guys should step aside as the judges of the High Court, so that they can go to court to defend themselves. Otherwise, as long as they are sitting judges, as we are talking now, I think it compromises the allegation.
Yes. The question is, you brought in a very important aspect there, and let me just bring in you, Joseph Simekha. The judges now, their fate is as good as sealed, and the president says that he's not going to appoint them. So what next for them then?
Yeah, thank you very much, Victor. Even with the full benefit of doubt that I wish to give the president, that is Uhuru Kenyatta, again, I will remind you of what I told you rings in my mind all the time. I'm speaking about public affairs. It's something Dr. William Mutunga, CJ Emeritus, said. Even the scum of this earth have their rights. The moment we resort to summary decisions like those, even with good reasons, we are casting aspersions on our institutions and our processes, especially in the management of public affairs. Those are extremely important, so that they may entrench predictability, they may entrench fairness, subjecting people to due process. Even if you catch the reason, let me just say that, rephrase that. The reason we say, for example, catch thieves and muggers and so on, and want to beat them on the spot and kill them, is because of lack of confidence in our institutions. It's lack of confidence in processes that should take care of those kinds of people. But even when we want to demonstrate confidence in processes, in institutions, like the judiciary, the Judicial Service Commission, like the commissions of inquiry, like whatever, name it, then we have to test those institutions. We have to test those processes. We have to subject these judges to those institutions and processes, only to be fair. And especially when we have solid evidence that they've committed certain offenses, that they have integrity issues, we should please commit them to the responsible institutions and processes, and not make summary decisions on their character, however solid the evidence we have. I began by saying I would like to give Uhuru Kenyatta or the presidency benefit of doubt. And the presidency, unfortunately, we hope against hope, but the presidency ought to be that institution that leads in giving public institutions confidence of citizens. What is the fate of these judges? I think it's agony, Victor. It's complete agony, because these judges have a right to fairness, have a right to due process. I know that I have friends who have had, say, including a colleague on this show, Matsanga, who says they should just quietly quit. But the problem with quitting is you quit with very serious and substantiated allegations over your head. How do you feel about that? How about your family? How about the people who have appeared to you as litigants? How about colleague judges and magistrates? Generally, just how about society, how society views you? That is the guy who had to leave the judiciary because of very serious allegations from NIS. It's not fair to them. Even if there is solid evidence of their commission of crimes or serious integrity issues, they should please be subjected to due process.
All right. Dr. Matsanga, we talked about it exactly a week ago, and the president said yesterday that his conscience is quite clear. He's not going to appoint the 6 judges. So the question is, has Articles 166 subsection 2 taken effect?
Yes. All my colleagues here are speaking. Don't waste your saliva. It's over. Look at, not because we don't want people to be cleared, not because people don't want people to go to court. Dr. Rotich and Simekha, whether you go to Angel Gabriel and sing and come back and say hallelujah, all of us. Section Article 166. You know, all the lawyers in Kenya are fearing to mention this article. They are now blaming Uhuru Kenyatta, but they are not blaming the framers of the Constitution. Anybody who has studied constitutionalism like me, I am even very happy in my heart that I see the framers of the Constitution made it very clear that under Article 166 2C, after the JSC has done its work, they again came and placed an article, a section C, that now empowers the president to open up the worms that are within the JSC. It is not the work of the president to send information. Read it, unless you went to a wrong school. But if you went to a good school, the JSC appoints, vets, interviews, and sends to the president. Before 166, that's their role. The president has nothing, and I want to repeat here, has nothing to do with what the JSC are doing. Even if he has got representatives there, the president cannot influence. And I repeat here, you will hear this coming in the judgment sometime. The president cannot go to JSC Oloo and influence the JSC that don't appoint Mutunga or Dunga, don't appoint. No. The Constitution covers the president under 168. You wait for the names to arrive in the State House in your bed, in your sitting room. Then you look at them. But if the president makes a mistake, Victor, to go to the AJSC and ask Professor Mugenda that, I have this. No, people will go to court and say, you are interfering with the work of JSC.
Yes.
2, Article 266, as Article 166, 2C. Simekha, your tongue finds it sour to read it every time. Why don't you read it?
I will soon.
Why don't you recite it? If you can't recite it, let me recite it for you without looking there. It says, after all this, the president will appoint judges as Chief Justice. Deputy Chief Justice, and will appoint judges. Those judges must have a degree from a recognized university. 2, those judges must have worked somewhere with experience within the Commonwealth. And 2C, it goes further. Upon looking at the high moral character, 1, integrity, 3, impartiality. The guy can now breathe fire and assign after checking your integrity. The president is an overall machinery of the state which governs and directs the public life of every citizen of Kenya. The president, Victor, give me 1 minute. The president cannot appoint a terrorist to be on or appoint. I'm not saying any of the judges is a terrorist, but I'm saying, imagine there was a terrorist who works with Al-Shabaab and the information has come to the president's knowledge, because Simekha and Dr. Rotich, none of us has any information that the National Intelligence Services give to the president. But imagine such information comes. The president has told you, and yesterday he said, in summary, he said he got the information and gave it after 2 years ago to the chairman of JSC. Who was the chairman? Who was the chairman, Simekha? The chairman was the quarreling Chief Justice. Yes. The paranoid Chief Justice, former Chief Justice, Maraga. And he has Maraga equally admitted on his show. And you know, the biggest thing is...
Okay, all right.
He has admitted on one of the shows that indeed he received a list and he received the evidence. So why are you blaming Uhuru for? Show me why you are blaming Uhuru for. Uhuru gave them evidence and said, I'm not appointing to Maraga. And Maraga has told us on the Citizen TV.
Dr. hold on. Dr. Rotich has...
I think...
okay, yes.
I think Oloo...
Why should I hold on?
Dr. Matsanga,
I don't need information.
Dr. Matsanga, no. All right, go ahead.
There are two things that we want to uncover. What Maraga said is that even out of the list that was submitted of those who were regarded as having integrity issues, it is not a list that is contained in the 6 judges.
Yes.
So in this case,
the names were altered.
The names were altered.
Okay.
So in this case, even altering the names,
Victor
can attract integrity issues.
Thank you.
The original people who are mentioned as having integrity issues are not the people who are appearing in the list now. That is where the problem is. Another thing again, we are not saying that His Excellency the President did the wrong thing. But what we are just saying is that these people should have been allowed to be heard.
I am stating my case.
Dr. Matsanga, you had your time. Dr. Matsanga, you had your time.
I did not finish my time. You interject.
I'll come to you, Dr. Ari. There's no problem.
He interjected and is misleading my point.
No. Integrity requires that you also listen.
And again, what the argument is, and even as Mother Garu actually post said that you cannot be a charge and at the same time an accuser. And that the role of the JSC was to interview and vet the 41 charges.
Yes.
This was the time when all these integrity issues were supposed to be given to the JSC, so that even as they were vetting, behind their minds they knew that the background of these people had some questionable integrity issues.
So you blame the JSC?
I don't blame the JSC, because the JSC, they have done their work and they have done it well. And in this case, what I don't know is whether they had prior knowledge about the accusation or the integrity issues that are before the 6 charges. So in this case, what I'm saying, Oloo,
yes,
the process at which it has been done. His Excellency the President did his job. And he did his job according to the information that he received from the NIS. But at what level was this information supposed to be given?
Right.
It was supposed to be given at the level of JSC, so that as they were making their verdict, I mean, if they were vetting the 41 charges, they were vetting against the backdrop of information that they were getting from the NSC and the public.
Yeah, exactly.
So in this case, the public had given the information, the NIS has given the information, and then the JSC should have been prior information or prior information before the vetting.
Okay.
So that as the vetting continues, these allegations will have actually come up. And of course, these charges would have been prevented, not to the level where they are now. In this case, as my brother Joseph Simekha said, these people have been treated unfairly.
Okay,
they were supposed to have been given a hearing.
Just hold on that. Just hold on that. I know you have got a lot to say in terms of they were supposed to be given time. You know, the JSC, they were supposed to have prior knowledge before sending the names to the president for appointment. But just hold on that. Dr. Matsanga and Joseph Simekha, just stick around because we just need to pay bills, of course. The debate has just started and we are going to delve deeper. I know Dr. Matsanga has so much to say. Dr. Matsanga, we'll give you 10 minutes, I promise. But before that, let's take a break. We'll be right back. Okay? Okay.
Say this, that personally I took a break, but Dr. Rotich and Dr. David Matsanga, doctors are fighting literally here, not literally, but battle of the wits. They didn't take a break. Okay, welcome back. This is People and Politics on
KBC Channel 1. My name is Victor Oloo. You can send in your questions, your comments, and of course, the tail end we'll be sampling them. And remember, the show continues here, and we're talking about the issue of the president saying that he will not appoint the 6 judges. Now, before I go to Dr. Matsanga, let me just cross over to Simekha. And Simekha, now what happens next? Now, is it work cut out for the JSC now to conduct another exercise for the 6 judges? Is this next situation for the JSC?
No, Victor, and you know, I'm organizing, even before I make any other comment, I'm organizing over the way Matsanga has misrepresented the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya.
Right.
To challenge him to stop misleading people on this show.
Challenge him. Go ahead and challenge him.
Yes. You have to read that Article 166 with the reason, with the logic, with the intelligence, Matsanga. You cannot pick out just 2B and begin to talk, or just 2, and begin to talk about it away from the entire article. There's a procedure for appointment. 166.1, the president shall appoint A, Chief Justice and Deputy, subject to approval of the National Assembly. B, all other judges in accordance with the recommendations of the Judicial Service Commission. The thing that is called appointment, is being defined by the Constitution. It's not just sitting at State House and signing on a list. The Constitution gives conditions for that appointment, subject to approval of the National Assembly, that is for Chief Justice and Deputy, and for the other judges, in accordance with the recommendations of the Judicial Service Commission. So the people who determine the issues he's raising, degree, holder, experience, integrity, which I agree with him on those, they're there. But there's a process for determining that. It is not the president who determines. It is the process of approval by the National Assembly for Chief Justice and Deputy. It is the process of vetting and recommendation by the Judicial Service Commission. I thought that should not be let go because it is a misrepresentation of the Constitution. It's not in the province of the president to go vetting judges. That is why the Attorney General is a member of the Judicial Service Commission. That is why the president appoints a member to the Judicial Service Commission. That is why the public is represented, law society represented, the courts themselves represented. Those are the people who do the vetting. And Parliament does also the vetting for Chief Justice and Deputy. So I just wish that we speak to citizens or to our viewers from a point of honesty and sincerity. It is not in the province of the president to vet judges. If and when he receives advance information on them, he must hand that information over to the right institution at the right time, to the right institution at the right time, and allow them what the law permits them to do, and let them do that. That's what I think I really have to, if I don't have to say anything else on the show, I think that I have to say that we must respect our institutions. What next? If I'm in the position of the Judicial Service Commission, I would never condemn those judges. I would insist, however long it takes, I would maintain, even if we have credible information on the commission of offenses and internal issues over these judges, please let us subject them to due process. That would demand that because they were already recommended for appointment, appoint today, and tomorrow, please, file a complaint, provide that information, set up a tribunal. That is, you cannot condemn anybody unheard. That Matsanga who is making those arguments was shouting about Uhuru and Ruto being condemned by ICC unheard, yet they were subjected to due process at ICC. Why do we want to condemn these judges unheard and two magistrates? Even if they have committed those offenses, Judicial Service Commission should never relent, because they are not doing this as individuals. They are doing this for citizens who have delegated the sovereign power to them as an organ of the state of the Republic of Kenya.
Okay.
So members of Judicial Service Commission must maintain their maintain fidelity to their oath of office, that they do what they do on behalf and for citizens of the Republic of Kenya. And no citizen should ever be condemned unheard.
Okay.
Doctor,
I believe it is my turn.
Go ahead.
I read J.A. Bright. I don't know whether Simekha knows J.A. Bright. And I understand English language so well. J.A. Bright, you must have read Ogundipe. So you who read Ogundipe first, Sus, let me tell you, I have not disregarded the Constitution of Republic of Kenya. I understand it very well. Commonwealth law, the common law, there's a difference between the common law and the international law. Look, you are talking about ICC, which does not use the common law, which is the Commonwealth where we are set from Britain. Please, let's separate those. Ours is a common law in Kenya. That's why we are Commonwealth, and we use the Queen's law. We copy from them, not the international law of bringing Uhuru and Ruto in ICC. Point number two, Simekha speaks exactly like what he is. Actually, he is an NGO. I'm not NGO. So therefore, I will speak from the bottom of my heart what I know. The Constitution of Republic of Kenya, Mr. Simekha, Article 166, gives the president two names of people to choose for the Chief Justice. Parliament of Kenya.
That's a lie.
How many names were sent?
One name.
No, wait. When you talked, I kept quiet. How many names were sent to the president recently? One name. Are you sure? Victor, help us here.
All right. Continue that.
How many names were sent?
Time. Right.
How many names were sent? The president chooses among the list to choose the Chief Justice.
That is not in the Constitution.
No, wait.
That is in the Act of Parliament.
Okay. Now, the Act of Parliament empowers the president to choose. Now, the president chose Madam Lady Martha Koome. Was there any complaint from Kenya? Many Kenyans who made a complaint Some of you, like NGOs, said, oh, the marks were lower. Don't think like other people. Think like you, man, I respect you. 2, the Constitution said the judges will be appointed upon the JSC has done its job. And I agree with you, Simekha. I would agree with you. The problem is not the president. The problem, and you have, both of you, Rotich and Simekha, you have actually gone where I was going. It is the JSC that the people of Kenya should be looking for and get their, whatever their problems and their anger. Because the JSC was headed by a man who did not like the president. But the JSC was given information.
Okay. Now, so the question is, question is now that the president rejected the 6 names, so should the JSC go back to the drawing board and bring and vet 6 new judges and forward to the president for appointment? What's now next?
Now, my brothers, we should be looking for suggestions like that. I'm going to answer for you very nice. It is true, the JSC has to look for other names because the error, and Lady Martha Koome has said she was not a part of it. But she wants the judges to come to court. If these 6 judges feel, let's not talk on their behalf. If they feel their rights have been infringed on,
yes,
the same court they sit in, they can go back and sue the state. Why are you bothering with people who have already been mentioned and appointed out? You go back to court. You are talking of following rule of law. Why are you pointing fingers again? Simekha pointing fingers, even hating me for nothing when I'm his friend. Let the judges go back to court if they feel their rights have been infringed on.
Okay.
And ask why their names are not there. Okay. But as we stand now, let me finish on this, sir. You gave all my friends time.
You have 30 seconds, Shari. You have 30 seconds, please.
Yes, as you stand now, Victor, the case is finito. If they still maintain to stay there, finito. The president says he will not. The JSC can bring more judges. The president will fill the gaps. It is a matter of Odunga and Dr. Joe to start to find that evidence which can be declassified.
Yes.
Declassified.
Thank you.
Simekha, you know that.
Okay, thank you.
Declassified.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right. I think to this end we can categorically say that we have followed up our story. We have been talking about this for the last 1 month, since for 2-3 weeks now, since the issue started. And yesterday the president said that he's not going to appoint the 6 judges because of his conscience. Is very clear on that. It's not about him. It's not a personal initiative, but it's for the good of the country, if I can paraphrase what the president said. So, gentlemen, let's just leave it at that. We are, of course, going to follow it up. Of course, we have got so much to happen, whether JSC will have a sit-down, the judiciary will also have a sit-down, and we'll have to see what will happen. So, gentlemen, let's just flip pages now, and let's talk about the issue here. Yesterday, IEBC Chair Wafula Chebukati said that come next general election, all contestants will have a university degree. Now, as it stands right now, we in the past we've had cases of petitioners going to court accusing certain candidates or even leaders of fraudulently getting university papers just to run for an election. Let me start with you, Simekha, before I come to you, Rotich, on this case, because I will quote you as well. As you said last week that I will hold that. You are eyeing for a political seat somewhere in the county of Vihiga. How will this go down with the candidates or with the people who are contesting for 2022?
Thank you, Victor. I think and I know that it's extremely important for us to keep setting certain minimum standards for people who we elect or appoint to serve in public office.
Yes.
And we have to keep pushing those standards up. Earning a university degree should just be one of the minimum standards. And I hope you heard me. I have used the word earning a university degree. It would be just one of the minimum standards. You know, it's important because management of public affairs is such a heavy load. And it's affairs of everyone in the nation. It's not private affairs. And yet we have people who barely understand what is put before them in Parliament, that is National Assembly or Senate, or in the county assemblies, those are the county parliaments. People who barely understand the numbers, the figures, the facts put before them, and they purport to represent citizens. I know people will argue about leadership and wisdom not coming with the classroom education. Unfortunately, it's not just about wisdom. It is also about dealing with the hard facts and figures in the management of public affairs. So it's important that we only have MCAs who have legitimately earned, not acquired, earned degrees, university degrees, as a bare minimum, plus other conditions, of course, to demonstrate that they have capacity to comprehend the management of public affairs. I give you an example. I've heard you talk about my county. When we've talked about suspension of the county government of Vihiga, you have a whole of barely literate MCAs who are talking about dissolution. They are saying that, oh my God, they want to dissolve our county. We will have no county. Look, Victor, the reason is they don't understand. They do not know the difference between suspending a county government and dissolving, which you cannot do it. There's no provision for it. Dissolving a county. Why? Because they are barely literate. With all due respect to everyone who hasn't gone to school for this or that reason, people who are entrusted with the management of public affairs must be subjected to a minimum standard of competence, literacy that comes with a certain level of education. Now, I will again finish by talking about earning this degree. Yes. I know of people who are in the Senate, they are senior senators, well respected. I know people who are governors who have never earned a degree, but they hold degree certificates. You know, those are among the useless idiots I was talking about a few weeks ago. And it's a tragedy, and Chebukati talked about it. A country of fake degree papers. People who never sat in any classroom. I know even of people higher than Senate in this nation who have very high degrees that they never earned, they never stepped in classrooms. So this should just be a bare minimum, but we must push as a country to have a character of integrity in the management of public affairs, including our bare minimum qualifications. So I'm glad that Chebukati has reminded everyone that now that law is coming into effect. Anyone who wants to run for elective office in Kenya must have a sincerely, fairly, and honestly earned university degree.
Thank you, Simekha. Let me come back to you, Rotich. You're a doctor, you're a medic, you're a doctor, you have your papers right. Do you support the issue of the bare minimum that Simekha is talking about? The IBC chair talked about it, because as he's saying that in matters legislation, there are certain hard issues to be debated. And one, perhaps a candidate doesn't have credible papers, that it becomes so hard even to debate some of these matters when they come to the floor of the House.
I think, Oloo, looking by experience, or rather going by the past experiences alone, leadership has never been, according to the papers or the number of papers that somebody has or the number of degrees that somebody has. When we talk about leadership, go to our rural setup. There are people who have done a lot of good work by leading others to do. That is what it's all about, leadership. You are able to lead a community, you are able to lead a club, you are able to lead a ground to do something that is beneficial to the people. In this case, if we have to go by degree or law, I can say the people who have really mismanaged this country are not those who are low in degree, are not people who are not very qualified. These are the brains, these are the intelligent lot. And they have ruined this country as professionals. The kind of theft that we are witnessing in this country is not that theft that was done by somebody of a Form 4 caliber. These are people who are skilled professionals. So in this case, when it comes to leadership, I totally disagree the issue of leveling people according to the degree. What we can say, the minimum one can have is a Form 4 certificate. Mm-hmm. And this is somebody who is already equipped. He has information, he has enough language to communicate. Because, I mean, the bare minimum is if you are able to communicate in English, in Kiswahili, and maybe your own mother tongue. So in this case, the issue of the degree, actually, I look at it as part of, it is a corruption. I mean, it is part of the corruption cases that we are seeing in this country. Because when you pass somebody who is qualified, who is a leader by birth, who has wisdom, who has knowledge, he knows how to manage his own people. And you say, now you need to have a degree to qualify to be like this. I totally disagree.
My question is to you here is that you are a Form 4 leaver, all right?
Yes.
You went through, the 844, but not fully. And here comes the situation, you are a representative of the people, your constituents, and you're sent to Parliament to debate on matters budget, matters national intelligence, matters national security, and you're not able to articulate these issues properly. So do you say that Form 4 or a degree does not come in handy in this situation?
No, what I'm just saying, the minimum, of course, your qualification should actually go along with the position that you are seeking. Mm-hmm. In this case, if you are going for a member, if you want to become a member of Parliament,
yes,
that means you'll be able, you need to be somebody who will be able to debate on harder issues. You need to have a whole web of information. And you cannot get that information without reading widely, or rather without having qualified to some level. So what I'm saying, I'm regarding the issues to do with the MCAs. Mm-hmm. MCAs are within our villages. Mm-hmm. MCAs are within our localities. These are people whom you should not demand from them a degree for them to contest. So what I'm saying, we have to categorize. Right. If you are vying for a position of an MCA, mm-hmm, member of the county assembly, the degree is not very important. What you need to have is a Form 4. I mean, these are people. In fact, these are places where even people, discuss their own issues in the language that they can easily understand. That is why we have developed the whole process. At the local level, they are able even to speak in their own mother tongues. So in this case, at the national level, where we have the national exam, a degree is actually what I also recommend. And of course, any other qualification apart from the degree. So in this case, what I'm saying, Oloo, we have had people in the past. I mean, you talk of the former head of state, His Excellency, the late Rotich Arap Moi.
Yes.
How many degrees was he having? Yet he led this country for many years than even those who have qualified. Mm-hmm. So in this case, I don't want us to bring a degree because it will be a punishment, even to the lords who have really contributed a lot at the lower ebb of our leadership. Mm. So in this case, I think at the lower level, MCA level and the down level, mm-hmm, they should have at minimum Form 4 certificate.
All right.
And then for those who are actually eyeing for the parliamentary seat, because they are more, they should be more informed, and they should their scope of discussion actually is more wider. I mean, a degree, the position or a degree level is actually required. So in this case, it should not be a hard thing. It should not be brought as as if it is a punishment. How about those leaders who have led for a long time and they have been very successful, even in business, without even a single degree? How can you equate them?
You're talking about MCAs and they should be having degrees and all that. I'll come back to you. Of course, Simekha just talked about some MCAs in Vihiga County who are not able to distinguish between to dissolve a county government and to suspend a county government. Whether they have got requisite education to that, I will ask Simekha in a short while, but let me rope in Dr. Matsanga in this. Daktari, what is your take? Are we likely to see fire now starting to blaze ahead of 2022 as some would say that they're now rushing to graduate and to acquire degrees so that they can run for these positions? Daktari.
Thank you very much. On this one, I tend to agree with Rotich.
Mm-hmm.
And then a bit of it, a quarter, with Dr. Simekha.
I love the way you put it, a quarter.
A quarter, yes.
Okay.
Because why I agree fully with Rotich.
Yes.
Tools, what is education? Education is to earn tools of analysis. Simekha, tools of analysis. Tools of analysis. It doesn't matter when, where, but you must have tools of analysis. That will help you to live longer, to adjust, and have, above all, and I told you I will capture all, I will catch you, all of you, I've caught you now. Higher moral character, integrity. Have you seen where things come? You can have 200 degrees with no moral character. You're a rapist. Can you go to parliament? Rotich, you see now how Rotich, you are agreeing with me now? You can have 2,000 professorships, but you go on beating up people violently. You lose your degrees. So education does not mean, to have a degree does not mean that's the end of it on planet Earth. No, you can, that's why chapter 166, which is Mayor refused, says on top of a degree, you must have integrity. You must have moral character. Hey, you don't go on beating people on the streets and then you are appointed as an MP. You must have moral character. And that is why I am saying I agree with Rotich on this. And a quarter of my dear brother from Vihiga. You know why? And, the word and. I told you I would teach you some English, J.A. Bright. And somebody who has earned a degree, not who has procured. There is a procurement. Going to the streets, we Ugandans have that English, procured. You know, I brought that word, procured.
Dr. One second. Dr. Yes. 1 second. 1 second. Let me just cut you short there.